Welcome aboard. Welcome to another exciting, enrapturing episode of Fishing Without Bait, where we offer a lifetime without definitive expectations, where we help people explode into their lives through full impact mindfulness. There's no entrance fee, only the honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness to try. If you're welcome nowhere else, you're welcome here. Jump in the canoe and start paddling and let the adventure begin. Good day, everyone. My name is Jim Ellermeyer. I'm a behavioral health therapist, and today, as always, I'm joined by my good friend, co-host, producer of this program, and recent traveling partner, Mr. Mike.
Yes, we are back, and I am fully recovered after these weeks of that bad sunburn. Well, mostly fully recovered. So I can still walk without wincing.
That's a wonderful thing, and that's something that obviously we've talked on this show many times about adding and recognizing positives in our life. So when you wake up and don't have those constricted red burning legs, you can be grateful for that. However, quite often what we talk about on this show, Mike, that most things in life that people bring up and they become some type of a object of passion and the current thing is repackaged buzzwords.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, is it there's no new ideas, just reformatted?
Many times, but it's so wonderful when somebody actually comes up with an original innovation.
Mm-hmm.
So recently, among I'm going to, please don't anybody be offended by this, the cool kids, the idea of manifestation has been traveling the ins and outs and through the ether of social media, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Have you aware of that?
Oh yeah, I've seen them floating about.
Okay, so what manifestation is, it's the process of taking an idea, a goal, an intention, and actually taking the steps to make it a reality. Okay, so Mike, our brains are constantly overthinking reality. And keep in mind is reality is only our brain's best guess of it.
No, absolutely. I mean, I really kind of broke this down that some of us really do live in kind of separate worlds, separate realities, depending on our perception of the world.
So when you think of manifestation, Mike, what comes to your mind?
Oh, the idea of The Secret and dream boards and manifesting your destiny as part of that.
Yes, visions and dream boards. Doesn't that sound like a bit like a bullet journal or a agenda, or often what we talk about on this show is the list of things not to do?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that we talk many times, and most recently, about that happiness just does not happen. Happiness doesn't happen by incantations. Okay.
Right. And some people, it's kind of like, you remember a long time ago, I talked about one day I'm going to do this, and that's poison because you don't get to one day, right? Because you're not putting the action. You just it kind of puts that idea that it's just going to come to you. But are you putting the first step forward to get to that one day idea?
So let me talk to you a little bit about my conception of manifestation. When we have a staff meeting, what I like to start off with is the statement, what I'm interested in is how we can get things done. I'm not interested in hearing about how we cannot get things done.
Absolutely. And we've had we find ourselves going down the rabbit hole of what went wrong with a project without going into the solutions and what we learned from it, right?
Yes. So quite often on this show and in my own practice, what I help people to do is figure out what's important.
Mm-hmm.
And when we figure out what's important, our values, our choices are non-negotiables. And when we talk about manifestation, we talk about envisioning these in our mind and setting an intention.
Absolutely.
And taking a different perspective on life, thinking about, rather than looking at obstacles, look at possibilities. So by looking at possibilities, we manifest. We help people, as we often talk about on this show, is developing minds of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So minds of awareness are a mind of awareness is paying attention on purpose and developing a mind of knowledge. So I consider developing a mind of awareness is to have a beginner's mind.
Mm-hmm.
The beginner's mind is open to possibilities, unlike the expert's mind, which is like a racehorse with blinders. Okay? So once we figure out what's important in our lives, Mike, the focus on that is to, okay, how can we make this happen?
Mm-hmm.
And we've often talked on this show about we're not going to get anywhere through wishes and hopes and waiting for something to happen.
What's the actual plan? What's the actual effort? What is the outline of that effort to accomplish that?
We have the dream board. We have the vision board. We have what's written down on there. That's wonderful. And we can focus on that. We can manifest that and the steps it takes to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So when you and I recently made a trip to Delray Beach, Florida, to visit our good friend Jake and get the most recent tattoo, you and I just didn't say, I'd like to go to Florida, and then all of a sudden we were magically transported there.
Yeah, one day I'm going to get there. One day I'm going to get to Disney World. One day I'm going to do this. And the same thing. I mean, this is for things like trips and things to do. But we sat there the other day and we're like, oh, we're going to be in Chicago. Why don't we go to that AEW show the day before? And they're like, you in? Good. I'm like, cool. Buy the tickets. I mean, it's like, Jim, I bought the ticket. I literally bought the ticket.
Well, for those of you who aren't familiar with that, you can listen to the lottery story, which we've talked about many times. So what we did is we manifested an idea. We had a strong desire to go to Florida to visit our friend Jake and go on the beach. So we turned that manifestation, we turned all that energy that we had into action.
Absolutely.
And we weren't interested in how we couldn't go. We didn't sit here and talk about all the things that could go wrong or why we couldn't go.
Yep.
We talked about how we could go. Were you grateful when we got there, Mike?
Oh, absolutely. Just another chance to see palm trees and the warmness and the ocean and smell the ocean. It was great.
Yes, absolutely. So we go back to our old friend abracadabra, which is Aramaic for I speak what I create what I speak. A more literal translation would be, it will be created by my words. And that there's also a great deal of manifestation concerning people's spirituality, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the manifestation is when we try to connect with or join in whatever type of faith structure you have, energy of the universe, joining in with that. We've talked about the energy being vibrations before and connecting with that and trying to eliminate distractions.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're focusing, let's say, I know that you're an aficionado of wrestling, particularly independent wrestling circuits. So when you're focusing on the matches, when you're setting up your cameras, when you're filming, are you balancing your checkbook at the same time? Or are you checking emails at the same time?
No, in fact, I completely black out of things and have to catch up with the day after that project, because it is, for me, we actually did just an MMA show this past weekend. And again, it was like the same kind of setup and everything like that, and getting ready to go live on pay-per-view. So it's focusing on what needs done next. What do the guys working with me need to be working on? Double checking in on them. And then nothing exists outside of that room for me for the duration of the day.
Yes. So when we manifest something, we can't manifest 40 different goals.
No.
40 different visions.
I can't be working on booking the podcast for Tuesday night when I'm getting ready for a pay-per-view on Saturday, right?
Yes, that's correct. So quite often when we started this program, we originally started at Seclair. You and I, when we moved on from that facility, we had a vision, did we not?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We had a vision of a podcast that would we wanted to create a platform.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to create a social platform where like-minded people, we could promote them. And from my particular passion is to recovery stories.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had many recovery stories. We've had many people like that, but it just didn't happen.
Nope. We put in the work. We've done this show. We created the platforms. We created Squarespace. Created the Twitter, and you're on it all the time, communicating with people and spreading the good word of fishing without bait.
Manifestation is not, I wish I had a bigger house.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had a bigger car. If only I had a better job.
Mm-hmm.
No, when we're talking about manifestation, we start off, Mike, with being grateful for what we have rather than being resentful or bitter about what we don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about changing perspectives. We're talking about changing mindsets. As we've talked before, if you and I spoke for the next 15 minutes about yellow cars, I will guarantee that on your way back, you'll see more yellow cars, as will I.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we're walking into our office or into a gathering and we're thinking about how argumentative some individual is or how much one person in that group doesn't like us, we're going to run into that person and we're going to be setting ourselves, manifesting a negative experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, however, if we're thinking about things that can happen, if we're thinking about friends, if we're thinking about enjoyment, what we're looking forward to doing, there's more of a propensity for us to have that time. If we're looking for things that won't work, we'll find many of them.
Yep.
If we're manifesting and thinking about opportunities, they're going to be in front of us. When we're talking about paying attention on purpose, particularly with spirituality, if you have any inklings towards spirituality, energy in the universe, whatever, cosmos, whatever, higher power comes your way. In the 12-step world, we believe that mindfulness is simply being in the present moment. And if you're in a present moment, the creator, the divine will put people, places, things, circumstances, events in your life. And if you're there to see them, they will have some meaning for you. There is no luck. There is chance, not luck. Do you believe in luck, Mike?
I believe that we make our own luck, but I think I'm also reformatting in my head, word-wise, exactly what you said. Like, we create chance, we look for opportunities, and that's when I say, and maybe my wording is wrong. Right, that's not luck that I'm thinking. Maybe the chance is the other word, and the opportunities is the focus word. But I tell people when they are fixated at least on the luck aspect and say, "Oh, you're so lucky to have this opportunity and stuff," is like, no, I worked for it. No, I created my luck. No, I created my opportunity by putting, myself in certain positions. Right.
Yes, the classic definition of luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Preparation meets opportunity. And what we talk about on this show is that it's action and effort in the present that make a future possible.
Mm-hmm. There are, there are so many 10-year long overnight successes. Is one I hear.
You and I could sit here and manifest a Lamborghini for the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And unless someone on this show gives us one, that's not going to happen.
No.
Okay. So, and then again, you and I, if we really sweat blood about wanting to manifest a Lamborghini and we never got one, then we're going to have a pretty crappy attitude and pretty crappy outlook on life, which is the essence of fishing without bait. The essence of fishing without bait is walking through life without definitive goals or expectations. We're manifesting some type of issue in our life, and we're taking the steps to make that happen. Yep. However, if it doesn't happen exactly the way that we want it to, if we're setting up unrealistic expectations, then what are we setting ourselves up for, Mike?
For failure and disappointment.
Yes. So I know that manifestation is a wonderful thing that's going around. There are many different ways, many different teachers of this. My own way is to develop a sense of mindfulness, a sense of awareness, a sense of perspective, a sense of reality testing, thinking of changing the way we speak to ourselves, training our brain to step back and look at situations rather than from it, and having that confidence, that quiet confidence in ourselves to trust our data gathering, fact finding, data sifting brain, to take our heart center, conceptualize a situation, and then our natural gut feeling. And when those three align, you'll know your way. And then we can manifest something that you and I can look forward to together. When we talk about manifestations, I'm always considering memories, Mike. But remember, people generally think of memories as being in the past. Give me a reason why we can't have memories of the future, which actually is manifestation. Absolutely. Manifestation is memories of the future, Mike. So for everyone out there, we'd love to hear your thoughts on manifestation. And you can certainly contact our good friend Mike at the end of the program. He'll tell you how to do that. And also watch soon, as we're going to be developing and putting more content out on our site strictly for our Patreon members.
Absolutely. And you can follow us at patreon.com/fishingwithoutbait, and you can contribute to the show if you've gotten any value out of this. If this helped you over the years, over the months, over this episode, we do encourage you to please help us keep the lights on, keep Fishing Without Bait rolling, to continue to give you new episodes. And again, there will be some exclusive content coming very soon to that platform, patreon.com/fishingwithoutbait.
And as always, for no charge at all, a free prescription, fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Unplug your television and take up fishing. And for a truly mindful experience, we suggest that you fish without bait. Forgive yourself and forgive another. Do a kindness for yourself and do a kindness for another. Till all are free, none are free. Namaste.
Please check out our website at fishingwithoutbait.com, where you can listen to the show, comment on our discussions, and find out where you can subscribe to our podcast. If you're interested in flying the colors of Fishing Without Bait, click the shop icon on our website. We have clothing, mugs, cell phone cases, and so much more. Show the world that you fish without bait. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.